Hello, this is the LRH26C, which is a long reach hedge cutter with the 26cc Cobra engine, and this is how it arrives in this long cardboard box. So what I'm going to do is unpack it all, take it out, and then we can show you exactly how to put it together so you can start cutting your hedges. Here we are, everything unpacked. We've got the actual hedge cutter, which has got the articulating head here. It's got the tools that you need to put it all together. It's got the fuel mixing bottle. This is a two-stroke engine, so it is petrol and oil mixture, and the ratio details are all in the manual, so do check that. It's got the handle that we need to fit. It's got the all-important Cobra manual with everything you need to know, and the strap there just to put it over your shoulder when you're using it. So first thing I'm going to do is actually fit the handle. So for this I need to go into the little tool bag here and get out the Allen key, take that apart and then fit that onto the handlebar. So it's just the Allen key here and just slacken everything off. Okay, so once all those have been loosened with the Allen key, that should take apart like that, and this then fits around the handlebar. It's quite easy to do. If you look here, we've got this as a sort of like a rubber grommet or washer, I suppose, to pad it out, and there's a groove in this bottom part here. So it needs to go on so that this groove fits around this end there, and then the top piece simply goes on and line up the holes, get it to where you want it to be. At this point it is slightly movable, so you can adjust it, but once it's tight it won't move. And then using the Allen key we just need to tighten everything up so that that is nice and secure on the handlebar. And also this handlebar, because it's got that rubber padding there, it is anti-vibration, so it just makes it much more comfortable when you're using the machine. Right, so that is it. Now the handlebar is nice and tight on there, so that isn't going to move at all. Just want to show you the articulating head before we fuel it up and start it. The idea of this is you can have it at various angles depending what you're trimming, so you can cut vertically or horizontally or at an angle. So I'm just going to lift this up now. You can do this with it because it's two-stroke, so it's not going to hurt it even if it's got fuel in. And to alter the angle of this, it's folded away in transit. Here there's a sleeve, this black sleeve here, so you just get your finger and thumb and slide that down, and you can see that it moves there and comes down. That releases the little pin that then would line up with these holes here, and these are different numbers here. And what we do to get it into position, we then just make sure that it lines up with the hole, and we've got to make sure that this goes fully back into that position like that. It's spring loaded, but make sure it's at the top. You don't want it to be like that, otherwise the gearing won't connect with that and your blades won't work. And that means that then when you're using it, you can obviously cut at various angles, and if we wanted to cut the top, flat top of a hedge, we just take that further round. It's got this handle here to allow you to do that. Again, make sure that that is fully up, and then you can cut the flat top of a large hedge if you want to. So lots and lots of different positions with that. So I'm just going to put that back into the straight position for now. Do that always with the blade cover on, because these blades are so sharp, which makes a really clean cut of the hedge. Only when you've got it into the position you want would you then slide that off to reveal the blades, and as soon as you've finished cutting, make sure that goes back on for safety reasons. So that is now ready to use. What we do need, of course, is some fuel. This is two-stroke, so you can mix your own up with the oil and the petrol, and as I mentioned earlier, the guidance for the dilution is in there. I've already got some mixed up, so I'm going to put some actually in this bottle. This is a two-stroke mixture, oil and petrol. What this bottle allows you to do is actually to put the petrol and then the oil in, and it's got the various graduations, but just to save time we've already mixed that up. And the fuel then goes in to the back here. You can see at the back of the machine we've got the fuel cap, and it reminds you again petrol plus oil, just so that you don't forget. So we're going to take that off like that, and then just pour some of this ready mixed fuel into there, just enough in to show you how we start it. So there we go, that should be more than enough. Make sure that that stopper goes back in, and then the cap. And again, any petrol engine, always use fresh petrol. Don't use any old petrol, stale petrol. And petrol now, the modern petrols don't last as long, so you need to use them within about 30 days. So don't buy gallons and gallons at a time. Just buy, 5 litres or whatever you want a gallon, and use that before you buy more. Last thing to do before we do start it is to put on the strap. And this is very simple. Just unfolds like that. And then this will strap onto this here like that. So then we can open that up, and that makes a shoulder strap, so when we're using it we can slip that over our shoulder like that, and it just takes a little bit of the weight when we're using it. And this is fully adjustable as well, so make sure that it's comfortable for you. So starting procedure, I'll show you how to start it. Starting is very simple, but bear in mind this is a brand new machine that you've got, never been started except for the factory test, so it might take a little bit of pulling the first time you start it. But let's look at the controls on the handlebar. Again, we've got a nice anti-vibration soft grip there. This is the all-important stop and start. So to start the machine you have to pull it back, and it's designed so that when you're using it with your hand around the handlebar, you can put your thumb on there and stop it very quickly just by pushing it forward. So that's the safety device. So to start it we pull it back. This is the throttle trigger just here, and what we can do for starting is we can lock that into position so it frees up this hand, and you do that by just pulling in the trigger and pulling down the red button, and you can see that's locked now into a running position. And to release it, as soon as I touch the trigger, it releases everything there. So we can lock that into position there. So this is the pull start here, which we need to pull. We've got the choke, as we can see here, which is indicated. So again, in cold we need it into the closed position, we pull it up. When the engine is running, we gradually push it down until it's running smoothly. So that's in that position. And again, when starting this, there is a little primer. And if I just tilt this back, we can see under there, there's just this little primer button there. And what we would do is pump that several times, and we can see the fuel is going through there, little bubbles in the fuel into the carburetor. So that just gets it going like that. So essentially it's ready to start. Before we start the engine, we need to take this off. So that just slides off, and put that obviously somewhere safe so you've got it for when you've finished with it. Once the engine is running, it takes a while before the blades start to cut. And the simple reason for that is around the blades in the gearbox it's packed with grease, and that's going to be cold when you buy it. It's been in storage or maybe in a cold place, so it's going to take a while for that grease just to soften a little bit. So don't worry if you've got the engine running and revving and your blades aren't moving. After about 30 seconds or so it will all warm up, and then they will cut and be perfect. So starting is very simple. We've primed the engine, we've got the choke on, so let's give it a pull. You can rev the engine a little bit just to get it warm to start with. And then once the engine's warming up, it will now tick over perfectly okay, and you're ready for use. So there we go, that is your long reach hedge cutter all set up and ready for action. You'll make a marvellous job of cutting your hedges, and remember, everything that you need to know about safety, the engine and how to use it is in the manual, so do refer to that.
Remember to register your Cobra online at www.cobragarden.co.uk, and always have your Cobra serviced regularly. Check the website for your nearest dealer.